Hello one and all, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show interview show. So for today's guest is this incredible actress and singer known by the name of Rebecca Chalon. So I'm about to give her an ad into the live now to have a chat with Rebecca about her new song release and upcoming projects and stuff that she's been in. So yeah, here we go. Hello, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, pretty good. So what I'm going to get you to do first is introduce yourself to people that don't know who you are, and then I'll dive right into the questions.
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca. I'm really happy to be here, Rebecca Chalon. I am an actress, singer, model sometimes, definitely an advocate for mental health and love getting involved with the community. Yeah, I don't know, what else is there? You can check me out on my Instagram and like all my websites and stuff, and you'll be able to see what I'm up to and get a better idea.
So we'll dive right into the questions now, Rebecca. So for my first question, you have this new song release that's out now. And how did you come up with this idea of this brand new song of yours? If you can give some details about it.
Yeah, sure. So I just released a song called Entropy. And it's about like a past relationship that I had. Like a lot of the time you'll find the artists are inspired by things that happen in real life. And this definitely was no exception. A lot of the time when I'm writing, I'll sort of pick like scenarios and things like that that I've been through or my friends have been through kind of thing, and I'll embellish on that concept. So while it's not always like exactly the same, it definitely has like a root in real life. This particular song was about a manipulative ex. But it's quite cathartic to sort of release that, and I wanted those sort of dark vibes, sort of Billie Eilish style, Miss Mister, that sort of thing. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of because my voice is kind of like poppy, I guess, so it's nowhere but the vibe is like Billie Eilish, so I feel like it's like Billie Eilish cross Selena Gomez if I was to put like a vibe to it, but in no way comparing to those artists. Like I love them so much. So I don't know, just doing my own thing and hoping that people like it.
Awesome. On to my next question. Why should people actually listen to your song?
If they want to, I guess. For me, music and art and, being able to do what I do, I literally can't do it without people listening and appreciating it. So it means a lot when people take the time out of their day to listen to my music or to watch the projects that I'm involved in, because I literally could not have my job without the support of other people. So if you want to support me and you like what I do and you enjoy it and you just want to vibe out with me, then yeah, give it a listen, give it a watch, all that sort of thing.
Awesome. So
Very appreciative.
yeah. So for my next question, you were actually in this film back in 2014 called Twisted Minds, and you played a character called Casey. What was that experience like for you?
That was so much fun. So that was back in Perth. So I was born in Perth, Australia, and I now live in Vancouver, Canada, because there's just a lot more opportunity in terms of like Hollywood and all the things that I do. I'm very lucky and blessed to be here. But back in, I think it was like 2014 or something. I maybe even before that. I don't even know. I was young, and it was a really good experience because in Perth there's not a lot going on in terms of film, so the opportunities are few and far between, especially to be playing like a supporting role like I was there. And I was really lucky to get like play alongside some really cool people like John McPherson, and John Howard was in that one too, which he's like in like Aussie royalty, kind of like Blue Healers or whatever it was. Like he's cool. But it was a really cool experience because it was like one of my first sort of character roles as opposed to like a cameo kind of thing. Like it was really someone I could sink my teeth into and like give her some depth and stuff like that, and a true storyline. I was very new to like all things set and everything like that, so it was a very surreal experience having people, all around me and like, getting my wardrobe together. And there was a scene where I had to like take a bite of toast, and that was insane because every time I took a bite of the toast, like for continuity, they'd like get rid of that toast, get me a new toast, and it was dry toast as well, so that we had like the crunch sounds, and it was right before lunch and people were starving and I felt so bad. But it was quite an experience. It definitely gave me that, jolt of excitement and adrenaline that I look for in my other projects, and sort of spurred me on to keep going.
Awesome. So for my next
Yeah.
question, back in 2018, you were actually in this other film called Nightstand, and you played
Mhm.
Amy. What was that experience like?
Wrong Nightstand was another Perth one, written by the Huxley brothers. They are a very talented bunch. Again, working with John McPherson as well. He's quite prominent in the Perth film community. That was really fun. She actually she ended up being sort of like a little teaser role, without giving it away. She's at the end of the movie. But the idea behind her character was that if the movie was to get a sequel, then that's what I would have like. I would have been a key player in the next sort of movie. So that was really interesting because like my character didn't really drive the plot or anything like that, but it was still a really fun experience. We rented out a Gelare. I miss Gelare. Oh my god, they don't have that here. It's so good. But yeah, again, like I was really lucky to be working with people that were my friends. So well, are my friends. So it was a really good experience, a lot of fun, a lot of talented people in Perth. Like it's scary good, like how many talented people are in Perth, and I really wish they had a bigger platform to show what they could do.
Awesome.
But yeah, those were kind of like my first experiences in film, like when I was a baby.
So for my next question, you were actually in this CW project called iZombie. You only did like production assistant work on it. What was that experience like?
So, being in Canada has been amazing. Like, there's been so many different opportunities been afforded to me in the film industry, and one of those is working in like the locations department. So I've been lucky to work in locations and wardrobe, background coordination, assistant directing, and director's assistant. Like all sorts of things that I've been able to do. iZombie was one of my favorite shows to work on, and it was probably one of the shows I worked on for the longest. I was part of like quite a few seasons for that. And I kept going back because the team were amazing. Locations is pretty basic work. What I was doing, it was, making sure that people are safe, making sure the area is like tidy and like no like outsiders are coming into set and things like that. So when you're thinking about like things like when there's a car chase or things like that, you'd be on a street making sure no one comes out and so they don't get hit by a car. But one of the fun jobs I got to do was to guard the cast sometimes because we had quite a bit of paparazzi out on iZombie. So sometimes my job would literally be to like ruin photos. So I'd just be like standing in front of the cast like, hey, so that they couldn't use those photos and things like that, and just sort of keep the fans at bay. But the cast were very gracious and usually did take some time to sign things and everything for the people that were waiting for them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I do actually
really
ask,
cool.
who did you actually meet out of the cast of iZombie, if I can ask that?
I met like pretty much all of them. So like it's like you're working, so you're not really like socializing and stuff, but being a PA, like you're usually keeping things safe or like staying in a room when other people can't be in it. So sometimes I would be in the cast room looking after their stuff. So in between takes, they'd come back in and chill out. Sometimes they'd talk to me, sometimes they wouldn't. Like it just depends because they have such long days. Like Rose could sleep anywhere. She's amazing. Like, and it's a talent you need to have on set because this poor girl, she was pulling crazy days every day because she was in practically every scene, and then the amount of makeup and like work it takes for like to get the zombie look and stuff, that's a long time in like either side of her actual call time like on set. So she was pulling the longest days of anyone, and she was always so nice. Like she's hands down the nicest person I've met on set. She always like say hello to you, and at the end of the day she'll say thank you for your work. Like she was adorable. But I met the rest of the main cast as well. So like Robert Buckley, Raoul Coley, I think, and Malcolm. They were all there as well, and they were all they were all really delightful. And I got to meet some of the like, you know, day callers as well, which was cool.
Awesome. So for my next question, you also actually worked on the Power Rangers reboot movie, and you did a scene from there. What was that like?
I didn't act on the Power Rangers. I was again in locations, but that was really fun because Dacre Montgomery, the Red Ranger, he's from Perth, and I was just like sort of standing around and like chatting, and he picked out my accent and was like, "You, where are you from?" So I got to talk to him, which was really cool, and I met the rest of the cast. But that isn't the norm. Like when you're a locations person and things like that, like you don't always get to meet the cast and everything. That's just you're lucky if you do, and you are working, so you're definitely not like, oh my god, can I please have a picture or anything. That's definitely a no on set. But I have been really lucky to have some really lovely like casts. Like I think probably the biggest name that you'd probably be interested in was Mark Hamill. So Luke Skywalker, I met him on the set of The Flash, and that was awesome because I loved watching him work, because I first and foremost I am an actor, and I do try to like, you know, work on set and do other roles, but it's you know, you get what you like put into it, you know what I mean? Like you could go there and just do your job and not see anything, but for me, just being on set is amazing, and having the opportunity to be around these actors and see what they do, see what their process is, how they work in between takes, how they interact with the director. It's also valuable. Like it's really valuable information for me, so that when I do book those gigs on set, I have a better idea of what to do and like, you know, where to put myself so that I'm not like causing any stress or anything like that, and have a better understanding of how things work, so that because you do get divas, like you do get people who are on set and are just like, excuse me, like that was a perfect take, why aren't we ready to go? And it's like, well, you have to, there's lighting, like there's things going on, like it's not just you. So I feel like it gives me a little bit more of a well-rounded perspective. Yeah.
Awesome. So for my next question, who actually inspired you to get into creating music and into acting?
Such a hard question, because like I feel like inspiration is constantly there, but like if you're talking about like the very first time I ever got to perform and like you know, got a taste for that, I would definitely have to credit my parents for that, because they, you know, they saw something in me, saw that I was a little performer, and they, you know, they ran with it, and they never like forced me to be on stage or anything like that. They always let me choose what I wanted to do. And they just like, they were so encouraging and always loved that creative spirit. So like my mum has always been so unbelievably artistic and creative in terms of like painting and miniatures, and like always activating my imagination. And my dad is a musician, so he plays the drums and he sings. So I grew up around his gigs and things like that, and it was just kind of normal for me to just sort of go on stage. Like there was one time when I was little, I just went on stage while he was performing to ask for like money for a soft drink. Like I had no filter about it. I just like, dad's like singing and he's like, why is my child on the stage with me? I think mum was having a moment, because she just let me go and she wanted him to take a break. But yeah, I ended up just going in there, and dad used to like let me sing and stuff when I went on stage. And also church as well. They were all like, they were very into like the church choir and stuff. So I sort of started singing at school choir and church choir, and just, yeah, I've always loved singing and performing and acting, and it just sort of grew from there.
Awesome. So for my next question, what have you learned about yourself as a person during COVID this year?
During COVID?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So much. So in Vancouver, we had like a little bit of a lockdown, and we kind of still are in it. Like it's still isolated, and there's like curfews, and in terms of my life, it completely changed, because every single minute of my day was scheduled before COVID, and I was working 15-hour days on set. I was also working like in a spin studio. I was really active. I was out and about, always with friends, always at karaoke, always hiking, hardly ever home. And then all of a sudden, all of my industries were shut down because they're all like customer facing. So things that I do, like working in fitness, working in film. I also am a Disney princess at kids' parties, so I play like Princess Jasmine, and all of that like stopped. So I went from having like so much interaction with people and a very fulfilling life to like nothing. And it was quite an adjustment for me. And I'm really grateful to be in the position to take advantage of this time and space. You know, our government's, the Canadian government's done really well in terms of my position, and definitely checking my privilege that I'm able to, you know, have some money coming in and not feel the stress to like put myself at risk, because I am asthmatic and I have low immunity, so it would be dangerous for me to be in like high traffic areas. But yeah, in terms of like the changes, like it's been a lot. Like it's an emotional roller coaster, because you know there's fear, there's hope, there's so much change all at once that you kind of have to deal with, and you know, a lot of adapting for my industry. So all the auditions are like self tapes and things now. So I've had to like get set up at home. Like I have a ring light. I don't know if you can tell the rings through my eyes, but it's been a lot. Like, and I definitely, you know, I encourage people out there, you know, to know that like you're not alone, and that this is a heavy time. There's no right or wrong way to do this, and you have no obligation to be productive. That was something I kind of struggled with at the beginning, because I was like, I have to use this time, I have to do this, and then I kept feeling like really depressed that I wasn't doing things. But eventually you do find your groove. I highly recommend, you know, counseling, journaling, meditation, all those things, because your mental health is so important. Like, you live in your head 100% of the time, so you've got to do what you can to make that a happy and healthy, safe and loving space. So yeah, like COVID's definitely changed a lot of things for me. Some for the better and some worse. Like there's definitely things that I'm going to take away when things start up again. Like the time for myself and really like having firm boundaries, because before I kind of never said no. And my sister's always telling me like, if you never say no, where is the power in your yes? And I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, just learning lessons, taking the time to like soak that in. A lot of ups and downs, I guess, is the answer to your question. Sorry, I went off there.
No, you're all good. You're all good. So for my next question, if you could be in any TV or movie franchises, what would it be and why?
Any TV or movie franchises. I would actually love something like iZombie or Alias, or there was one, an Eliza Dushku one called like The Dollhouse, because I love those ones because the main character gets to be something else every time. So even though you're you know, you're bringing depth to your own character, like with Liv, like she was Liv, quintessentially Liv, but she also had these fun brains to play with, and she got to play with like different sides of her personality and grow through all of those different like characters within herself. So I would love to be a part of something like that, because it would be exciting to play and challenging as an actor. I also love like New Girl and things like that, because it's just fun and quirky. In terms of like movies, I would love to like, you know, play a power female kind of thing, like something like Wonder Woman, or you know, just someone like Captain Marvel. That would be really cool to be inspiring to others, and you know, have people look up to you kind of thing. But it would also be a lot of pressure. But I'm part of a movie franchise called With Friends Like These, and I do love being a part of that. I just I hope that it's more well known at some point, so that we can do the sequel, because that would be a lot of fun. Yeah.
So on to my next question. What are the positives and negatives into the acting and music industry, and how do you get through those negatives as a person?
Yeah, there's a lot. It's a ride, because, you know, Hollywood is one of the most discriminatory industries that you can work in. It's like one of the only industries that can sort of go, no, you can't have the job because we don't like the way you look. So whereas in other industries that would be like highly illegal, because it's got nothing to do with your skill. But with with Hollywood and things like that, your look is a really big part of what you do. So there's a lot of judgment, and you do come across people that are quite blunt about it. So a lot of the time, like, I'll be going out for roles that are like ethnically ambiguous and things like that. And I'm often told that I can't be Australian, even though I am Australian, because I don't look Australian, like the blonde hair, blue eyes, the way that they portray that in Hollywood. And that is changing. We are seeing a little bit of a shift, and we're seeing a lot more diversity and a bit more emphasis on representation, which is great. And I love that. But it's definitely a challenge, you know, when you're being talked about as an object as opposed to a person. So even in saying that, like, a lot of the times my appearance isn't necessarily my own. So I love crazy colored hair. I love dyeing my hair and things like that. Like earlier in COVID, because it was quarantine, I had like pink hair because I knew I wouldn't have to be on set. But now that we're sort of getting back to work, I had to dye it back to like a normal color because that's what's marketable and doesn't like put me in like a box kind of thing, because I'm not really all my own. I'm someone else's vision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of, like, they can demand things of you, like, we need you to put on 20 kilos, or we need you to lose 20 kilos, or we need you to be blonde. And you can lose a job for that as well if they don't have the budget for like wigs or time for you to like get your hair dyed or whatever. You can lose a job just simply for something like not having green eyes. Like, so that's definitely a challenge. There's a lot of like divine timing to this job. So you have to have a thick skin and not take all the rejections personally.
So on to my very last question. What new projects are you currently working on that you would like to announce on the show?
Well, with COVID at the moment, things are kind of on hold a little bit, but with Friends Like These will be coming out soon, I hope. They're kind of in the last stages of post-production, and I think they'll be doing some like cast screenings and all that sort of thing, and then figuring out like what festivals. So with Friends Like These would be a really great one to sort of keep an eye on. Definitely check out my IMDb, and you can see like any projects that I'm attached to. In terms of music, I do really want to, you know, be releasing some more songs soon, and I do have some in the works. And you can follow Boxes by Button on Instagram, because the concept behind that is kind of like going to have all different boxes. So like the entropy is from like the black box, which is like the darkness and all that sort of thing, but there'll be like a country one and like a butt box and things like that. So there'll be all sort of styles, because another thing that I find in the industry is they always want to put you in one little box, and then that's where you are, that's where you live. You're not allowed to like anything else or do anything else. You are that. And I kind of resent that, because I have a pull to like a lot of different creative things. So yeah, just follow along my socials and like IMDb, and hopefully you'll like. I have a Patreon as well if you wanted to support my like studio time stuff. That's actually how I released Entropy. It was thanks to my patrons. They paid for the distribution costs and everything like that. So it's really validating and really wonderful to be able to like release my things because people believe in me, and because they are supporting me. Like, I literally cannot do my life or anything that I do without the people at home watching and the people that support me. So like, I'm so unbelievably grateful. Like, it means a lot. So thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. So can I just say thank you so much, Rebecca, for appearing on my show. It means so much that you appeared on my show. Any last final thoughts or anything that you would like to say?
Well, thank you so much for having me. Like, I love it. Like, this is great. This is so much fun. I really appreciate the opportunity to come on here and talk about what I do. Your questions are really thoughtful, so thank you. Yeah, just, I guess, everybody out there, keep going, just keep swimming. Times are heavy. Like, you're right where you need to be. Don't worry.